Beau Is Afraid. We finally
came out like a month ago in America.
But fucking UK cinemas strike again.
Yeah. We got punished because we're British.
No, literally, it's terrible. Beau Is Afraid is Ari Aster's new punishment.
Yes.
It is 3 hours long.
Well, actually,
it's 179 minutes.
Yes.
Actually.
See, it's not quite 3 hours.
Right.
It's not quite 3 hours, you fucker. It's 2 hours 59.
It's a nightmare comedy.
A nightmare comedy. So
Wikipedia describes it as a surrealist tragicomedy horror, which none of those words were in the Bible.
I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say it's a horror.
It's bad. It's not horror.
It's horror adjacent. There's dashes of horror, but I think nightmare comedy is kind of an interesting way to say it.
I can't stop thinking about it. You've seen it twice.
Yes. So I've seen the movie twice. I saw it under the influence.
Yes.
The first time. And I wanted to do that.
I assume under the influence of Christ.
Yes.
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 Under the influence of our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Praise be.
So I wanted to do that because, funny story, during like one of the Q&As for Beau Is Afraid, like Joaquin Phoenix came out and was like, "Hey guys, I've got good news and bad news. Like the good news is Ari Aster's here to answer to answer questions, but the bad news is he's on acid, so he's probably not going to be able to answer your questions."
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, okay, I'm not going to take acid.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But I do want to be under the influence while I'm watching this, because I think because to me, I'm like, I want to be on like a similar wavelength to Ari Aster making this in some way, because I do think it's a movie that it's a very demanding movie in the sense of you've got to ride with what Ari Aster is kind of making here, and it's like, and so it's one of them where I would say for the first 2.5 hours of this nightmare comedy, I thought it was absolutely fucking superb. I thought it was funny. It was kind of creepy at parts. That's why, because I would say, like, I mean, I guess it is kind of a horror in some ways, but I think, like, rather than it being a comedy horror, it's like, it's a comedy horror.
Yeah.
Like, those things are separate, and they kind of blend somewhat into each other, but they're very separate beasts. But first 2.5 hours, I think, are just absolutely outstanding. They're funny, they're creepy, they're beautifully shot. Joaquin Phoenix is great. Nathan Lane is great. Like, all of the cast are fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the last half an hour happens.
Yeah.
Now, the last half an hour, it's not catastrophic.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it go from a 5-star to a 1-star.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I just think the last half an hour of the movie, there's something off about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's because it needs another rewrite or because, like, I don't know, like, because there was a story that came out last year that A24 and Ari Aster had a bit of a dispute.
Yeah.
Over, it was like, apparently Beau Is Afraid, which was Disappointment Boulevard, I think.
Which I prefer as a name.
Much better name. That was the original title for it. And it was basically A24 and Ari Aster are kind of, there's a bit of beef.
Yeah.
Because A24 saw that Ari Aster's film was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And they went, no, you need to cut this down.
Yeah.
Now, it was written as a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
Why A24 would take this 4-hour script, greenlight it, put it into production, and then afterwards be like, wait, this is a 4-hour movie? What? Like, no, it's a 4-hour, surely it's going to be somewhere around our life. But I do feel like, I mean, if this is the case, like that, Ari Aster went, okay, we're going to chop out like an hour of this. I do wonder if that had a pretty major, like, negative impact with the third act specifically, because I think the first 2.5 hours of this movie, because it's like 4 films in one, and I'd say the 3 films that it covers are so confident and so tightly constructed, tightly paced, tightly, performed, all of these things. And then it's like the last film of this 4-film kind of like structure. It feels messy.
Yeah.
Like it feels really, really messy, and like it feels like a totally different movie in a negative way.
Yeah.
Whereas while like the film feels like 4 films in one, you can sort of see like the smooth like transition into each one, which I really like about it. To me, it's got a 4-act structure.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and it's like, but I think for me, like that 4th film or the 4th act, it really hurts it.
Yeah.
Like because it throws a lot of things into itself that I think just hurt it.
Yeah.
And make it kind of just feel a bit more, I don't know, it really brings the film down, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because like I just think that first 2.5 hours is just so tight and it's so well done.
No, I completely agree. I want to preface, I like the film a lot. I really like it.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% think the film is like, even with the issues with the third act, I still think the film's great.
No,
I still
absolutely.
really, really like it.
It's a shame because I think all the talking points are about that final third act.
Yeah, because,
Which is a shame. But, because I do think that's by far the weakest part of the film. To me, Beau Is Afraid feels like a film that trips over its own ambition.
Yeah.
Because I think... So Ari Aster, I think, wrote this in college.
Yeah, this has been a film, I believe, because I know that the initial script got leaked.
Yeah.
I think it was from like 2015 or something.
Yeah,
It's been in the works for a long time.
So I think, to me, it feels like... I'm completely wrong with this, but this is what it feels like, is that Ari Aster wrote... wanted to sit down and write his version of like the Odyssey. His version, I think he described it as a Jewish Lord of the Rings. He wanted to write his 4-hour epic.
Yeah.
And so he wrote a film and then kept writing till he hit 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that really hurts it. Because to me, I think there is a brilliant 2-hour film here. A fantastic 2-hour, 100-minute film here. Of those first 2 acts. With a bit of the third act in there.
Yeah.
It's the 4th act to me that feels like Ari Aster let's assume it hit about 3 hours and went, I don't know what to do.
But
and
I think
so
for
then he sits down and he goes, right, what do I do? Twist. Plot twist.
Yeah.
So he comes up with this plot twist, writes a plot twist, and then just throws in all the weirdest shit you can think of.
Because if it were to me, like, my issue with the 4th act, I really like the last 10 minutes.
Sure.
The last 10 minutes, but
no, I like it.
Like the very, very ending, I like, but there's like a 20-minute stretch in that movie where the plot twist happens, and it feels like a different movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that's because the film was cut down.
Yeah.
And maybe the 4 hours, had it been a 4-hour movie instead of a 3-hour movie, maybe that would have made a hell of a difference, because that stuff had more time.
That's the thing. It feels very underdeveloped. I mean, especially I think there are some extra plot twists in there that are hinted at, but then they never really follow up.
They kind of gloss over.
Yeah.
There's like there's certain plot points, especially in like the later half of the film, that are really glossed over.
Yeah.
And that's why like I really am interested to see if they're going to do a director's cut of the movie.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like a film that
I'd be interested.
Or it does feel like a film with a lot that's been cut out of it.
Yeah.
Which is strange to say.
Yeah,
it's a 3-hour film. About a 3-hour movie.
That's what's mad. It's a 3-hour film. Simultaneously feels too long and too short.
Yeah.
Because I want to see a 2-hour version of this that cuts the majority of the final hour and focuses mainly on the Nathan Lane stuff and the apartment stuff. Because
you know what? Because I actually think there's a way to do basically all of that.
Yeah.
But then that 20-minute stretch.
Yeah.
If you take that out, I honestly think there's a way to kind of connect those together.
Yeah.
And make it like a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Because like,
no, I agree.
You know, I genuinely think there is a way you could do that. It's just that 20 minutes.
Yeah. And I think the reason why that 20 minutes is like, that's what stayed with me, is because so much of that plot twist I think hurts the rest of the film. Because obviously it's one of those plot twists that's like kind of like, ooh, this affects everything.
Yeah.
It makes me look back on the film and kind of go,
I will say, watching it again, knowing that twist, knowing where it goes, I actually did like it a little bit more.
That's fair.
I wouldn't say I don't like the twist necessarily.
Yeah.
I think for me it's more just I think the way it's executed,
that's fair.
think is messy. But I do think on its own, the twist in theory is an interesting idea, and it is one I have sort of the more I think about it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
But it's still one of them when I'm still like, but it's the way it's delivered is still really strange.
No, I'm
and feels choppy.
I don't know how I feel about the twist just as a concept. Because I think I like what this film does in terms of being a weird, surrealist version of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think every part of that works really well. The problems for me seep into when this film is trying to be more.
Yeah.
And when this film is going for the big twist, the big sweeping message, when it's Ari Aster talking about his feelings on stuff like his mother and that shit. To me, that's when the film starts to lose its footing.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
I love the weirdness. I love the comedy. I love the fucking... Like I said, all that Nathan Lane apartment shit. The production design is fucking superb.
Oh, well, yeah, like the sequence after like the Nathan Lane stuff, where it's like in the forest, and there's that like sort of like to tell like his like life story.
That's brilliant.
Is fucking outstanding.
No, yeah, all that stuff is fantastic.
It's one of the most beautiful sequences like this year.
I like the fucking villain that comes from the Nathan Lane stuff. The guy that follows him around.
Yeah,
I like all that stuff. When it loses me is, and spoiler here, I guess, is when he just hitchhikes.
It's
because that to me feels like, oh well, I thought I was watching, and I mean, sure, you could put a bit of this down to the marketing, but I at that point I was like, oh, well, that's disappointing.
Where the film lost me when I first watched it. Spoilers. Full spoilers, but like where the film lost me when I watched it for the first time was basically when the mother appeared.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Because I think the problem with the film is I feel like the film, when that point comes, it's like it kind of like loses its edge and it gets a bit scared to go like weird again. Yeah. Because it kind of just becomes like, oh, it was a twist. Like you see, I constructed all this.
Then it throws in some more weird that is so weird.
And then when it goes back to the weirdness, because it kind of lost the flow, it tries to get back
giant penis monster.
Yeah, it goes to a giant penis monster that is only in it for
and
like
even
10
Beau's
seconds.
fucking... And this is, I guess, what we mean about the whole 4 hours would be interesting to see it more fleshed out. There's Beau as a brother that he doesn't remember, but only comes back in dreams, who was locked in the attic because he got too curious.
It's that thing of... It's a movie that I think suffers from to me it does feel like there's a chunk missing. Yeah. And it's weird to say that chunk it's only in that one space.
Absolutely.
The rest of it is fine. There's like the rest of it's perfect, but it's just for some reason that chunk feels like it was chopped down a hell of a lot. And it's why again like I'm interested to see if there is a director's cut out there, because I do think had if there is one out there and it fully goes into that, to me it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I genuinely think the rest of it, like the first like 150 or so minutes, is fucking outstanding.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
And I do like the end where it's like where Beau is in kind of the courtroom thing, and I really like that sequence. I think that sequence is great, and it's like, but again, because the film kind of went through this 20-minute stretch where it lost me. It was kind of like one of them where I was like, that scene would have been nice had I went into it with the high I was feeling 20 minutes prior.
That's the thing, is when I got to that scene, I was kind of like, I kind of wanted it to be over.
It was one of them. I was kind of tapped out because I wasn't into the other stuff that happened. So it's this strange thing where it's like I'm, in the back of my head, I'm like, you lost me, like, so you need to
just wrap it up.
You try to get me back, but you lost me.
No, absolutely.
Because the penis monster thing was so stupid. Like I hated that.
And then also the fucking Jeeves guy comes in, attacks the penis monster for some reason,
dies,
and then that's it. Again, it's all very. It starts with a bang, and it very much goes out with a whimper. It's weird,
and it's a shame because that bang is so fucking
so good,
perfect.
No, genuinely, I thought this. I was watching the first like hour, and I was like, "Fuck me, this is like superb." Like this is coming from someone who hasn't fully tapped into Ari Aster yet.
Yeah, because that's the thing, because I adore Ari Aster, so it's like I absolutely love his work,
and I like his work. I just have yet to really fucking click with it.
Yeah, no, and it's like, and it to me, like watching his like earlier short films, it does feel like he's went back to that.
Yeah,
which I'm not that keen on his short films.
Yeah.
They're not terrible, but they're very student film.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes, they're very, and so it does feel like he's went back to that.
The constant vibe this gave me is it does feel like a script originally written by a student.
Who's like went in to do like a 4-hour epic.
No, exactly.
And it's like that's cool, but
yeah,
4 hours doesn't mean.
If I got funding for my 4-hour epic, it would be shit. That's no, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah, exactly.
Because
it's like,
I'd be going into it simply wanting to write a 4-hour epic.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. You reach a certain point where it's kind of like, oh, just fucking end it. Love of Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's
like, you hit a stride.
Yeah, I think like because for me, I didn't want the film to end until it got to the stuff with the mum.
No,
that's when I was like, oh.
There's so much good. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good ideas. It's the few small bad ideas that really hurt it.
It's funny because that scene when the mum appears, everything that happens right before that is fucking hilarious, and I absolutely love it. Like the whole Mariah Carey, like the sex scene, that is fantastic. It's so funny and it's so like well done, and it's like it's just so funny that I think like I love that scene, and then the mum appears and I'm like, oh, like it just I was like an all-time high, and then boom, like it just it like immediately, because I was just like, this is just silly, like it's too like it just felt it was too much.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Especially when it becomes like a, you know, and the fucking therapist appears, and it's like, oh,
that's when it fully lost me.
That's when it was like, alright, this is alright. You're not like David Fincher, like you're not trying to do like a crime, like a, you know, a mystery thriller. It's like it was too much.
There was no need for a twist.
Yeah, it was like one of them. Was like it really would have been fine if the mum was dead. And even if the mum appeared but was actually dead, but he was just seeing the mum there, that would have been fine. Like, but her actually being alive.
No, I wasn't keen.
It was like, I was like, oh no, come
Film
on.
needed less talking, more walking.
That's what, but even that, it's like, it does feel like an adventure.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have a problem with like, you know, he like takes a car ride.
Yeah. That pissed me off. I was ready to fucking throw something.
I didn't mind that, because I think so much of the film was about him getting to that.
Yeah,
so that's what the satisfaction of, he's finally in a car, he's finally driving away, thank fuck. Like, but I don't know, like, I feel like the rest of it though is like just absolutely fantastic.
No, when it's good.
Yeah.
Oh fuck me.
Like, I adore it. Like, I think it's really fun. Bill Hader's cameo is great.
Yeah.
I like nearly screamed when I saw him.
Absolutely.
That was so cool to see him in that.
He's so cool.
There's so many like fantastic scenes. I love the scene when he gets like pressed into smoking weed.
Yeah.
And he's like, that whole sequence, I think is the sound design of the movie is some of the absolute best sound design I think I've heard in a movie ever.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking incredible.
No, the technicals are...
No, like technically it's stunning, and it's like it's weird to say, like it's Ari Aster and it's like most like Lynchian.
Yeah.
Which Lynchian is a word that gets thrown out for fucking everything. I saw people call him One Division Lynchian. Yeah. But this, to me, I genuinely would say, like, no, like, this is a Lynchian film.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, 100%, like, David Lynch is, like, you can feel it, especially with some of the scenes, straight up take things from, like, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Like, pieces like the scene when the mum, like, puts the brother into the attic, and there's that shot where she's, like, walking towards Beau, and the camera like pulls back. That feels like straight out of like a David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly something he would do. Or even just some of the other things, like just, you know, the certain like the way like some of these characters react. The guy like who chases Beau in the forest feels like a David Lynch character.
Yeah.
Which is the way he like, you know, the way he acts, he's very like surreal. The daughter.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole Nathan Lane stuff in general feels like something you'd see in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
You know, with that, especially with the daughter, because she's like always at 10. She's always just like freaking out.
Yeah.
And it's like it just has that feeling all over it, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing vibe. it's just that third act. It all comes back to the third act.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame it's like that because because the rest of it's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's firing on all cylinders and then it just lets itself down at the very end.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to feel anything towards this film that isn't just a general sense of disappointment, which is sad because I still really like it.
No, yeah, I still really like it too.
Clouded by just that disappointing ending.
I am. It is weird too because as negative as negative as I have been about like that stuff, I have over time warmed up to it. On rewatch, I did warm up to it. Like it is a film I would recommend to people where it's like if you did watch it once, if you if you enjoyed it even a little bit, give it a rewatch.
Yeah,
because I do think it will transform in some ways, like your thoughts on it. Because I do think going into it knowing the end point, knowing where it leads to, is an interesting experience.
Yeah,
and it definitely, I think, elevates it a bit more because you can see like it is messy. I think the third act, but I don't necessarily think like he didn't have that planned.
Yeah,
I do think that was always where the film was going to go.
Yeah,
and I think the way the film kind of teases it throughout, you don't do that unless you have like that pretty clear in your head. It's not that I think the film like just comes up with it at the end. It's more so that I think the film feels like it rushes to that, and that something's missing. And it's why like I even if we don't get the full 4-hour cut, I'd love to see if there is like a 10-15 minute chunk.
No, absolutely.
That's there. That could help it.
Yeah.
It genuinely does feel like a film that just needs. It's missing something.
Yeah, that little bit extra.
But it all happens at the end.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, that's why I'm like, I'm not ready to just disown it because I'm like, the rest of it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So there is something there. It's just maybe there is the director's cut there that will genuinely bring it up.
Yeah, no, I'd be very, very interested in the director's cut.
It's not impossible. Director's cuts can do that.
Zack Snyder's Beau Is Afraid.